Today's show brought to you by Boss Up Hand Sanitizer. How do you feel about that?
I think we're going to be rich. That's what I think.
We're going to go ahead and sell these for probably $1,000 each.
At least.
Yeah. So.
At least. We have about 200 of them.
We do. Actually, it's funny because we made these for eBay Open this year
because of all the germs, right?
Because
germs at conferences and hugging and
we had a bunch of them left over because guess what? It's kind of what we didn't really think about was that it was going to be a pain in the butt to like carry around bottles of this stuff. But we did give a bunch of them away, but we still have a couple hundred left. But anyway, just a shout out to Mo because she is the one who hooked us up with the bottles, and then we just filled them. We had a little bottle.
We had a bottle filling party. Mm-hmm. It was fun.
Yeah, but anyway, oh man, that smells strong.
It is really strong.
The alcohol in that's super strong.
Well, that means it's killing things.
Oh, really?
I am totally coronavirus free now.
Anyway, no, we're not going to be selling these at all. But we're going to be giving away some prizes today. Let me show some of the stuff that we have. Just for funsies, we thought
It's been a while.
It's been a while. So we have a couple of fanny packs from back from eBay Open this last year. And we also have a couple of
the highly coveted eBay. Here's the little pouch.
Aviator sunglasses that you're putting your fingertips on, smearing them up. But they're the really cool eBay aviator sunglasses.
I totally look like Tom Cruise now, don't I?
Yeah, you look like Tom Cruise for sure. And then you're laying your lens down. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? I'm sorry to whoever's going to get those damaged pair of sunglasses.
They're not damaged. She's such an ass.
Anyway, so we're going to give away 2 fanny packs, 2 sunglasses. So there's going to be 4 separate prizes, and then each one's going to get some buttons, some stickers, and your very own Boss Up hand sanitizer.
Your very own Corona antivirus starter kit.
Yeah, something like that.
Sorry, I don't have any masks for you.
Yeah. Really, it's all about keeping your hands washed and don't touch your face. So quit touching your face. I'm really bad about that too. Like you realize how bad you are when you travel internationally. And like I had a hard time because I've been to Southeast Asia a number of times. And it was really hard for me not to touch my face a lot because, you are exposed to like all the bacteria and stuff in your own environment. And so it's not that big of a deal. But when you go somewhere on the other side of the world, the bacteria and stuff that's like normal to that region for you, that's why people get really sick. That's why you'll end up, there's been a couple times where I had a day where I was just like laid out in my hotel room. But anyway, what's happening, guys?
Yeah, no, it's not a pure romance party, you weirdos.
What?
Get your minds out of the gutter. Get out of the gutter.
What is happening, everybody? It's Wednesday. I'm Katie. This is Vicky, aka Victoria, aka ruiner of sunglasses, aka weird holder of pins. You were like holding it like you were like doing, I don't know what was happening. I saw it.
Weird holder of pins.
Well, because I looked over and you were like,
I was trying to turn it to the right way.
But you had like, it was like you were using like your ring finger or something. I don't know what was happening. Anyway, aka my fiance. Just bizarre. I don't know what's happening with you.
Clearly, she's had a lot of caffeine this morning. Again.
I haven't really. I had a little bit of coffee. Anyway, so it's Boss Up and List Day. Give us your little rundown. What is Boss Up and List Day? What are we talking about?
Boss Up and List Day is every Wednesday. It is our all-day virtual listing party that we hold in the Boss Facebook group, which is the best Facebook group on Facebook. The link is down below. If you're not a member of our group, you should be. It's where all the cool kids hang out. But every day, pretty much, we talk about goals and things, but specifically we focus on them on Wednesdays, and we talk about what our goals may be for the day. And we check in and have some sort of accountability with one another, kind of like talking with our virtual coworkers around the water cooler. So we take a break at 11 o'clock Pacific time to do this show with you guys. And this is our businessy show. We actually do have a couple of sponsors. So we do want to talk about them for a second. And you don't have the...
Oh, I do.
Logos. Oh, you do have the logos.
You want me to bust those out right now?
She's so good.
Bam.
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 We are sponsored by two different companies, one being Sizely, which is a great tool that you can use as a reseller if you sell clothing. It helps you visually show the measurements on your items. We definitely recommend you check it out. And there's a link down below.
I use it on every single listing that I do, because I like the uniformity. I like that every listing, you know, people can look and see exactly where you're measuring on a t-shirt or on a jacket or on a sweatshirt. It just helps. It doesn't completely eliminate the questions. Like I will get somebody, I had a guy like send me a message and he was like, I'm 6'2" and 145 pounds. Will this jacket fit me? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know if a jacket will fit me until I put it on, to be honest. But anyway, I use Sizely every day on all my listings. It's awesome. And so you should definitely check it out. And they're a great supporter of our show. So please use the link below to go check out the site. They do have a free version if you just want to like play around with a little bit with a couple of the templates, see if it's even something you would want to do. But otherwise, tell us about the other one.
We also have List Perfectly. List Perfectly is a company, the subscription service I've been using since October, developed by two young ladies in Arizona. And it is a tool that helps you cross-post to several different e-commerce platforms. I've run out, I forgot how many there are now.
They had 9. Relove did just shut down, but
right. So now they're down to 8, but not by them. They were, you know, Relove closed. So they have 8 different platforms and always working on new ones.
Yeah.
So it's awesome to help you cross-post to other platforms easily and efficiently. Yeah. I personally am on Poshmark. 6 months ago, I would have told you never, and I'm sure you all heard it. I would have never been on Poshmark, and the only reason I'm on Posh is because of List Perfectly. Yeah. I just completed my first 30 days on on Poshmark, I should say, and I made over $800 in sales, I believe, in my first month.
And I was resistant and stubborn, and I was holding out until they List Perfectly added Grailed. And lucky enough for me, they added Grailed right around the time they added the bulk cross-posting tool. And so I finally signed up for Grailed a little over a month ago. And in my first month on Grailed, I made $1,000. So there you go, guys.
Seriously.
Anyway, so yeah, so just check them out. Our links are down below. If you're planning on using them, you know, use our links. It'll help support us and two awesome companies that support our channel and are really involved in the reseller community. So super cool. Anywho, I think we got through that pretty quick.
We did. That was pretty good.
We did.
So we always forget. To be fair, we forget frequently to mention our sponsors, and not that they ask us to do this. That's not necessarily, we do it because we want to.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, happy Wednesday, everyone.
There you go. So Tommy in Seattle, real quick, says, I just want to address this real quick, says, I really want List Perfectly, but I'm too small to justify the cost. Now, I will say, you know, a lot of the tools, you know, when you sign up, you can use it for any amount of time and then stop using it if you want to.
Right. You may be on vacation like at some point and you want to spend a ton of time cross-posting for one particular month, and then you may not need it the following month. So it is something that you can do 1 month at a time if you want to here and there, and then cancel or change your subscription anytime. I think another thing to address in that, and I don't mean to cut you off, is that, you know, if you want, this is part of what our show is about today, is growing your business and scaling up. And I think if you want to grow your business, or you have the ability, the time, the need to grow your business, sometimes you need to spend money to make money.
Yeah.
And that's true in a lot of different parts.
And I think we'll get into that in a little bit, but what I wanted to say real quick, you know, you say you're too small to justify the cost. Let's say you have 400 listings. I have no idea how many listings you have. Let's say you have 400 listings, you're on eBay, you don't bring in a lot of money, and you, the idea of spending, you know, $30 to $50 a month on a tool just seems unreasonable to you right now. What I would say is it's worth, if you're serious about like taking the next step, if you sign up for the business level, which is like, I think $50 a month, and that's the one that you,
the pro,
that's the pro, and that's the one,
that's the business. Sorry.
Yeah, business. And that's the one where the lowest level that you can sign up to get the bulk cross posting tool. Okay. It's literally only going to be for the next couple of weeks. So my point is, if you sign up for that, pay $50, go in, sign up for, let's say, 2 other platforms, and do all the cross posting of all those 400 items to 3 other platforms.
And maybe that takes you a couple of months. Maybe it takes you 3 months.
Yeah, or I mean, you could do that. What I'm saying is, you could do that within a couple of weeks with the bulk cross posting tool. You do that, and then you only do it for a month. First of all, I'm going to say you're probably going to realize that it's worth hanging on to because it's going to scale up.
The way that I look at it is that if you are on another platform and you make 1 or 2 sales even on that other platform, you've just paid for a month.
Yeah.
So if you're making 10 additional sales a month, it's worth it. That's just my nope. There is no free trial at List Perfectly, but there is if you use the link down below and you sign up, there is some information. They've been doing the 20 free listings. You're able to do, they show, so you can kind of test it and see how it works and see if it's something you like. So do they help you share too? No, they do not yet. Connie, that's a very good question. It does not have the ability to export directly out to social media sites, but I do believe that is something the ladies are working on. If it makes sense for your business, they are working on everything.
Seriously.
Honestly.
And, you know, you might as well go and join they have a Facebook group. So even if you haven't signed up for it yet, you can join their Facebook group and see what the kind of stuff that they're working on. And it's ridiculous. Like anytime, it's like if there's something that could make it a little bit better for resellers, they're pretty much like, yeah, we're working on that right now.
They are on it.
So anyway.
And Noelle, no, they cannot come into your landscaping. Knock it off, lady. No, there is no contract on. There is no contract. It is, you do have to put credit card information in, obviously. You are charged monthly. It is an auto renewal, but you can go and cancel at any time easily yourself. You can cancel or downgrade at any point. You don't have to send in a certified letter, or it's nothing like trying to get out of a gym membership. It's, you can go and change it easily yourself. It's under managing your account you can change it anytime. So
yeah, for sure.
There's no questions, no weird form to fill out, nothing like that. You just, they make it easy.
All right. So we're talking today about scaling up, and, you know, we are in the process of trying to scale up and having some growing pains as far as space goes. So I guess we can go ahead and address this question right now, because we're actually going to be doing something very soon. OGC Resale says, how do you guys manage storage space while scaling up? I mean, it's true. We have a pretty big house. We have a 2-car garage. Our garage is pretty much filled to the max with the vast majority, 99.9% of what we sell is listed as out there. And so I think we use that space pretty well and pretty efficiently.
We do. I think we can use it a little bit more efficiently, but we're about to change that.
And so one of the things that we did a while back is we did get a storage unit, which we put all of our personal stuff in. So, like, first of all, Vicky's really into Christmas decorations, and we're talking like a ridiculous amount of
like 5 trees and like
and so when it's not Christmas time, we have all the stuff that has to be stored for the rest of the year, and so that's all in the storage unit. We have stuff like, you know, like your old yearbooks and old toys from when you were a kid, all that stuff that you have that you don't want to get rid of but you don't access on a regular basis, that's all in our storage unit. So that's one of the things we did, is that we actually, instead of putting merchandise in there, we put personal stuff in there that we don't need to access on a daily basis.
For a couple of reasons. I'd rather have everything under my own roof because I don't want to have to drive off site to do shipping every day to pull orders. That's a pain. I keep about 5 or 6 big items there in the storage unit that are for sale. It's only 1.5 miles away, so I haven't had any problem going to pick it up. And it's one of those things that, you know, they're going to sit there for a while for the right buyer because they're big and heavy. So I'm okay with that. Personal stuff being out of the way, it's out of sight, out of mind, and there's plenty of room there.
And so then the other thing is that, you know, like I said, we have a pretty big house. We actually have we each have our own office, we have our bedroom, but then we also have 2 guest bedrooms. And, you know, I know that, you know, Vicky really likes being able to entertain people, but the reality is that having 2 guest bedrooms it's a luxury that we don't necessarily need. And so I've been kind of working on her for a while. You know, we maybe once a year, we have both bedrooms filled at the same time. Usually we just use 1 bedroom. So having 2 bedrooms so that 1 week out of the year we can accommodate people, I think is a bit much when you're like kind of hurting for space. So I've been working on her for a while. I finally convinced her, you guys. We are going to be converting one of those bedrooms into a space for my inventory, for the majority of my inventory. So what we're going to do is we're going to empty out one of those rooms.
Does anybody need a full-size bedroom set? It's real cheap.
Yes.
Local. I'm not shipping the sucker.
Yeah. And my office is upstairs. So these bedrooms we're talking about are like right there. So we're going to empty one of those rooms out completely. All of my totes are going to go in there. So, you know, everything other than my jackets is all going to be right there for me to access. I'm keeping my racks that are along the wall in the garage for my jackets, but otherwise all that space is going to open up for Vicky. We're also going to be like reconfiguring a whole nother wall in the garage, and I'm going to be adding double racks there for her. So this move is actually, it's going to be more convenient for me, and it's going to open up a lot of space for her. And if you go back and look at some of our really old videos where I'm moving here from Oregon.
First couple of videos.
Yeah, it does show like how there's ways you can maximize the space you already have. So
we've got so many of our little bossy posse ladies in the house. I just want to say we've got Dawn, Corey, Kara, and Susan, who hardly ever makes it in here. So thanks for watching, ladies.
What is happening, everybody?
I don't know. They must all be bored and have no death piles and nothing to list. Again.
Yeah. Dana says, you leave the Peacock room alone, Katie. And yes, I'm leaving the Peacock room alone. We're the rock room is the one that's being dismantled. The stuff's going to stay on the walls, but all the furniture.
My rock room is being dismantled. I have this fantastic skull and crossbones kind of, you know, bedroom set in there, comforter set. And like that bed has been used twice.
Yeah. The thing is like with the way it's set up in the garage right now, I have to move my totes back and forth every day so that she has access to her stuff. And the reality is she's kind of bummed about losing her rock room. However, once we get everything done, we're going to be doing this in the next couple of weeks. Once we get everything done down there in the garage, she's going to realize how much easier it makes her daily work life, having extra space and so much more room. So she just it's like you got to sacrifice a little to get some big rewards from it. So
yeah, I feel like I'm gonna have to make one of the bedrooms. I don't know. Maybe the hallways are gonna have to become my rock hallway. I don't know.
I think that's fine.
I gotta hang up all my memorabilia still. I love it.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. So today's show, we're talking about scaling up. We don't have all the answers, guys. But we're just going to talk about like kind of what we're doing and some of the other ways that people are able to scale up. It is possible to still scale up in today's, in today's climate of reselling online. Now, in our group the other day, somebody had talked about, I think it was Lindy that did a video recently. We didn't watch it, but apparently she did a video talking about how it's getting harder to sell. I don't know if she was talking about eBay specifically or online.
I don't know because we didn't watch it, unfortunately.
But somebody had posted that and was asking people's thoughts about it. And the reality is that, yeah, it is getting harder. And yeah, it is going to get harder because that's how it is for any industry. If there's a way to make money, you're going to have competition. You're going to have more people joining the game. You're going to have more problems, more money, more problems, right?
Oh, jeez. Please don't do that.
But that's a reality. Like, Vicky's remembers the good old days of eBay. And you can hang out and talk about how good it used to be and complain about how you wish it would go back that way, but it's never going to happen.
I can also talk about how I used to wear size 5 and was super young and hot. Neither of those things are ever going to come to play again. So let's adapt and change, people. I buy the bigger jeans. You change what you're doing online.
Wow, what an analogy. Allison is yelling about her rock room right now.
I know. Sorry, Allison.
You can sleep on a cot in the middle amidst my bins.
So someone said, so Michelle, Reseller Project said, you can tier floor to ceiling hanging racks. That's exactly what we have. We have double tier floor to ceiling hanging racks made out of PVC tubing and piping that Katie built in our garage. And it's on 2 of the length. We have a 2-car garage. It's actually like a 2.5-car garage. So on both sides, all the way down. And then we're also going to put it on the one end that's attached. So
she tried to suggest that I was going to give up some of my hanging space, and I'm like, excuse me, I'm not giving that up. That's the space for my jackets. But then when I showed her my vision and I showed her how much wall space we have that's not being used right now,
she's creeping. She's creeping. I'm sorry. I need to address this.
What?
Rachel, who hardly ever watches the show, yells at me every time I say something about my weight. And this is, look at there she is, right in the chat, saying it right there.
I know. Well, we always
creeper.
you know, Rachel and her husband Lou, we always joke whenever Vicky says something self-deprecating like that, we pretend like we're squirting her with a spray bottle, like she's a cat getting on the furniture or something. Ugh. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, but yeah, so the reality is that it's, you know, it's going to get harder. It's harder now. You know, there's a million more sellers joining the game, and you can blame it on the YouTubers, but the reality is people know you can make money by selling stuff online. And then there's also a million more platforms. Like List Perfectly had 9, that now they have 8, but they're just a fraction of the platforms that are out there to be able to sell on. It's just crazy. So
yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like, so, you know, in 2018, I did about $95,000 on eBay and about $5,000 on Etsy and Bonanza and combined, right? So I did it. I just hit $100,000 that year in sales. Last year, I hit $140,000 in sales. And I'll tell you what, my eBay sales were a little bit lower. And there's a reason for a lot of these things. So we all know that eBay has gone through a lot of changes, especially in the last 18 months, probably more so than ever before that I've ever seen on the platform. And I think that getting those sales and getting the sales conversion in the used category of especially clothing and a lot of thrifting, like a lot of us are sellers of those type of items, the sell-through rates are harder to come by.
Yeah.
So, you know, you have to be running promotions and you have to be running sales and you have to do all these kinds of things that cut into your bottom line over and over again. So what do you do to make this up? What do you do to continue growing?
Yeah.
And that's what we've been talking about.
It's true. The struggle is real, you guys. The struggle is real. Speaking of eBay, you know, when I just look at my PayPal, since I'm not in managed payments or anything, I can just look at whatever money has come through PayPal as of the end through 2019. That's all eBay sales. And when I look at my PayPal, you know, from 2016 was my first full year selling, but I was kind of growing at that time. 2017, I probably doubled what I was making in 2016 on eBay. 2018, like it was literally like a triple growth. Like it was like my income through eBay went up like 200% from 2018 from 2017. And then I look at 2019, and even though I have more stuff, I have better stuff. 2019, I was actually down like 24% from 2018. However, because I added Etsy, overall my sales were up for the year.
Right.
But it was about having that second platform.
For me, was for having the second platform for sure. I think it was 16,000 on Etsy last year, and a little bit on Mercari, a little bit on Amazon, a little bit on Bonanza. I think maybe a total of like 1,500 total between all three of those, but for last year. And my sales did go up on eBay. Now, to be fair, Katie and I talk a lot about how many hours we work. We both worked for the past 2 years, far more hours than most people want to put into this business by far. And I understand that not everyone's going to want to put that type of time in. We don't want to put that type of time in anymore. We've made some drastic changes this year to enjoy our time away from work a little bit better and to get better quality of life. But I think when you're trying to build a business, it makes sense that you put a lot more effort and time and energy into it to get yourself to a certain level or to get yourself to the next level.
Yeah.
So now that we're at the levels that we're at, and we have 2 separate stores, you guys know that we run things entirely differently, because thank God I'd kill her if we had to share the business.
I'd kill her.
So, but I've had a part-time helper. I've had Dana, House of Rocks. I've had Dana working for me for a little over 3 years now. I think 3.5 years, I think we're at now, Dana. And she's done, sometimes it's been 4 hours a week, and sometimes it's been as many as 20 hours a week. But more and more frequently over the last couple of years, the last year especially, it's been 1 day a week for 4 hours, which has always been helpful. But she's built her own business up to the point where she didn't really need the money from me anymore. And there have been times where eBay was slow and I needed to cut back on the amount of money I was spending out on helping and just buckle down and do it myself. And it's part of the growing pains of growing a business. But now that my business has gotten to the level where I can sustain a part-time person more consistently, it's time to bite that bullet. And I've started to do that over the last couple of weeks, especially.
Well, and here's the thing. There's a couple of ways. Let's just go back to the basics. Like, how do you grow your business? How do you scale up? I mean, assuming that you kind of got it figured out, you kind of found stuff that you can sell, you know how to make a listing, you kind of know the process and everything. Like now, how do you scale up? And there's a couple of ways that you can do that. I mean, it's all about increasing your sales, but you can either do it through more items, which means a higher volume, or you can do a higher average sale price, or a combination of the two. And if you're focused more on volume or the combination of the two, then you're really, at some point, you're going to have to hire help, because you can only put in so much time, right? And also, because of what we were just talking about with issues with eBay, and also just competition with different platforms, even with higher average sale price, trying to stay even at the same volume, if not growing as well, you have to expand to other platforms, and that's just going to be the reality of it. And so we both, in a different way, are taking those approaches, and doing the whole working smarter, not harder. But the smarter is kind of harder too, if that makes sense at all. So yes, we're doing things that are going to increase our sales hopefully over this next year, but also give us a little bit more time to do stuff that doesn't have to do with our businesses, like taking Saturdays off. But it doesn't mean that we want our sales to go down. So for you, it's all like, how is it different what you're doing right now, what you just started?
So for me, I wanted to get a handle on cross-posting to other platforms. So I increased that, just like you did, in a slower manner. I did Etsy. I had dabbled in Etsy. I started Etsy like 3 years ago, maybe.
Dabbler.
And I think I had like 10 listings up, and they never really went anywhere.
You dang dabbler.
Last year I got pretty serious about Etsy and cross-posting, and I was paying someone to do that cross-posting for me. And it was by the hour. So it was, it cost me a lot more than it would cost me to do List Perfectly, but it was before List Perfectly launched. Once List Perfectly launched, I was able to do all that cross-posting myself for second, in a matter of seconds. And I was able to take that dollar per hour and allocate that to a different part of my business. Now, what people say the best advice to take, or the best advice that I ever heard when I was told I wanted to, when I decided I wanted to level up or whatever on my own, was take the part that you hate the most or you dislike the most about this job and this process and hire out. That's the first step. Maybe that's shipping. Maybe you want to have somebody to come to your shipping every day or every other day or however frequently you ship. Maybe that is doing inventory. Maybe you want to hire someone to do inventory. I don't want to pay to have somebody do inventory, but I don't do inventory and I hate it and I should. Maybe it's taking photos. Maybe it's the actual listing itself. It really depends. Everybody has different parts of this job that they love. I'm pretty safe to say I think we all love the sourcing part. So that outsourcing is not something most people will do.
Yeah.
But
and so what's your new process, or what do you
so my new process, and I can say this, she's in the chat actually, is I had made a post in our local group about looking to hire someone. I've learned lots of different people do this model, but the person that really stuck with me is our friend Trish Glenn, Boston Trish. I went home to Rhode Island last month and I sat with her one night. We got to hang out and we were talking about business, and she's done her business this way a long time.
Yeah. They did some boozing. They ate some microwave hamburger macaroni, and they got down and dirty talking about hiring out. And
what she told me was the best thing to do is to find a teenager or a college kid or a single mom or somebody that has a flexible schedule and have them pick up a tote full of stuff, photograph it and draft it for you. And that's it. And, and drop it off to them, or they drop it off to you, and you do that exchange weekly. And you can have one person, two people, three people, depending on what it is, but always have a constant rotation of people doing stuff. So for me, I've heard her say it 100 times, but for whatever reason, it clicked for me. So when I came back, I actually asked in our local meetup group that I organized, is if there was anyone local that was looking to make some extra money, that may have a smaller business, and maybe they're part-time, maybe they just need some extra funds, maybe they just want some extra funds, more steady funds. And Crystal, Rosie's Closet, was the one that reached out to me, and she's like, let's talk about this. So we're on week 2. And so I will say the first week she picked up 44 items from me, which is more than I usually have. Now, if I had a death pile, like I know a lot of you guys do, you start with your death pile. I don't have a death pile. So for me, I actually had to source a little bit more. What I'm doing, I hate photographing clothing. Love sourcing it, love selling it, don't mind listing it, hate photographing it. So what I'm doing is I'm having her do all the clothing. That's the part I don't like.
Yeah.
I love doing the hard goods. I don't care about photographing, listing, measuring, cleaning, any of that stuff. I like doing it. So she picked up 44 items. She photographed them, listed them in draft format for me. I didn't have her do research. I didn't have her do prices because why slow her down? I price my stuff my own way anyway. So that just took the hard, the time consuming part out of it. So she did all that for me, put them in drafts, and she did a great job. And I had absolutely no direction for her. Like, she did a great job. She already knows how to list. Thank God I hired somebody that already knows eBay. And today, we swapped everything out on Monday, and she's got the second batch, and I think there's 60 items this time. So my goal is to get up to about 100. I don't know if she can handle 100, but we're going to go up a little bit at a time and see where her threshold is, what she can manage in a week without it cutting into her life. And then that's it.
Yeah. And so basically when it comes to clothing, you source it, you make sure it's clean. Like if there's anything that's stained.
Right. I treated everything
so
and
it's
cleaned
photograph
it. Yep.
ready. You source the clothing, you hand it off to her. She does the pictures, the measurements, and then does the drafts. And so when you get it back, all you have to do is review the drafts, pop in the price, and then you go ahead and you do the cross posting to other platforms because she's just doing it on eBay.
Correct. And this is where I do wish that I had the ability to source in bulk or source from the bins. Because I don't have that here, I'm paying more per item than I think people that are able to source at the bins. If we had a good bins, I would spend a day or two at the bins and bring back a ton that I normally wouldn't do. Normally, I try to list things for $40 and higher, but with her helping me, it's $30 or so. I'm lowering it because I'm hoping to get more quantity over the quality.
So Tommy in Seattle wants to know what a good price is to give somebody to take a tote and do a draft listing. And we're not going to get into the amounts.
Well, I can talk about it a little bit because it's what I had asked. I had asked Trish, and Trish talked about it when she was here. So I'd asked Trish what the going rate was, and I looked out, and this topic comes up in Facebook groups here and there, and I've seen it go around quite a bit there. Some people give as little as $1.50 per draft, including a photograph, and some people go as high as $3. So I think $1.50 is too little for the amount of work that it involves. And I think $3 seems about fair. If you have a good lister, somebody that already knows the platform and already knows eBay, I think that person can make $15 to $20 an hour doing this. And this is not, or more, really, but I think 15 to 20 is very feasible.
Well, and I think it also depends on like what it is that you're selling. If you're buying stuff that's only going to sell for $10, it's going to be difficult for you to shave $3 off the top of that.
Right. You've got to factor in your,
for you, because of your average sale price and the kind of stuff that you buy, and because you tend not to spend too much money on things. Let's say you buy something even for $7, you add another $3 on top of that, but it's going to sell for $60 or whatever. It's like that makes sense because you're not having to do that work, and you can go out and focus on other stuff and sourcing more. So that's kind of one way to do it. Like you're not hiring a full-time person necessarily.
Right. She's only going to do what I have. So if there goes a week when I don't have anything, then she's not going to have much to do. So, and we're gonna work together and make sure that it's beneficial for both of us. The first week went well. We'll see how the second week goes, and if it ever doesn't work out for her, she can tell me. And if it doesn't work out for me, I can tell her. We want to be able to be mutually beneficial. I don't want this to be inconvenient or it feel like she's taking far more time than it's worth for the amount of money.
Yeah.
So that's
one way of doing it. And so you're kind of starting at just the beginning of it. And Trish is a good example. We had her on our No Pants Friday show after dark. And she usually has like 3 or 4 people that are anywhere from 2 to 4 people that are doing this. So
that pick up a tote or whatever from her. She hasn't listed anything in forever. She'll tell you that. She's like, I don't list.
Yeah. But
she's like, I ship and she sources and she buys in pallets.
Yeah. So she buys
and I think they may even wash the clothing for her, but they steam it and photograph it and stuff like that. I don't need stuff to be steamed for the most part. So we don't really get into that, but
she's not as picky as I am.
I'm not. She steams the friggin' t-shirts. I can't be bothered.
But yeah, so basically the way you're doing it, like you could keep going, you could get more people if you could find enough stuff to do.
My thing would be having to find enough stuff. And
Yeah.
and there is stuff out there, but I've gotten so picky that I now have to revert my pickiness a little bit. Like I bought some things this week that I normally wouldn't have purchased before. Like I bought some, some J. Jill pieces and some Chico's pieces and stuff like that. I wouldn't normally buy those basic brands, but I did this time knowing that there's enough margin in there and they're cheap enough. So, and if I'm not the one doing it, because it would be a struggle to get through all of the listings myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like,
well, and one of the things that people say, I think Trish said something about this at some point when we talked to her, either on the show or personally, is that, getting to that point where you can leave and your business still runs, which to a certain degree, anybody can do that because we can just like extend our handling time. But it doesn't mean you're actively listing. So by having somebody else doing listing, it makes it a lot easier for you to go away and have your business run as is. So maybe like at some point, maybe a next step someday would be having somebody who could actually ship for you. But right now it's like, that's not something that you don't mind.
I don't need somebody. I don't mind shipping, and I don't need to have somebody come every day to help me ship.
No,
that's
no. But no, not at all.
But there are people that do that have somebody that come and work, every day. Maybe that person works, 10 to 2 or 9 to 1, whatever, a few hours a week, every day of the week. And that way they do their shipping too. For me, I don't mind shipping. So that's not
absolutely
a big problem.
No,
I'm usually shipping fewer than 10 items a day, except on Mondays.
It's more the idea of like the more sort of automated your business is, the more stable it is. Because for instance, like when I had my accident last year, it's like that's created a huge problem as far as money coming in and sales going on, because you were having to do my shipping for me, and
that was hard.
Yeah. Whereas if you have, if you want to travel a lot and spend a lot, for me, it's like when we travel away and it's during the week, it causes a lot of anxiety for me, because it's like I want to keep things moving, and because of how my business is set up, and pretty much yours too, going away does have some effect. Usually it's not bad, because we just extend our handling time, so it's not a big deal.
But we do intend to go to Italy for 2 weeks next year, so that we're not going to completely shut down for 2 weeks. We're going to have somebody house it and ship.
Probably we'll do something like that, or just extend our handling time, and because we're trying to save money for that trip. So who knows? We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out when it comes. But yeah, even thinking about that, it's like I'm excited about the idea of going away for a couple of weeks. But I'm also like, like the idea of going away for a couple of weeks is also very stressful. Anyway, so
I want to see in the chat, do we have any people that have scaled up and hired help? And if you have, how has that worked out for you? And what have you hired them to do? Because I see there's a whole lot of chat going on here about sister wives and house butches and God, Sandra, that expression cracked me up.
All right, should we give a couple prizes away before I talk a little bit more about what I'm doing?
Let's do some prizes.
Okay, let's start with a beautiful hot pink fanny pack. If you want to be the belle of the ball, if you want to be walking around the flea market and having people go, ooh, who's that?
I gotta model it.
Right? Oh, you think you're gonna wear it like
I'm hip and cool?
Yeah,
I gotta get
sort of at it. I don't know.
I gotta get into the frame. Never mind.
That was really terrible.
That was pathetic. Pathetic.
Anyway, you gotta do it like, come on, man. You gotta do it like this. You wear it like this, there, and then it's right there, and then you're like, here's your money. Here's your money. Give me the stuff. Here's your money.
All right, yeah. See there, Katie can wear it like that.
Yeah. So you shut your mouth. So okay, how do we want to give these away? What are we doing?
We got to do numbers. That's the fastest and easiest way.
All right, guys.
That's
Here
the
we
first
go.
one.
Here we go. All right. So don't start typing numbers yet, because you're not going to win. You don't even know which numbers we're going between. Okay. So first one to give us, and it's going to be whatever number we see first, because it comes up in a different order for different people. First one to guess the number between 1 and 50. Go now. 1 and 50. 1 and 50. Go now. Let's do this. 1 and 50.
Let's do this.
1 and 50. Come on. You'll get this awesome fanny pack. And let's see. The numbers are going to start going crazy.
Right there.
You saw it? Nope. Nope. Hold on. Let me make sure it managed. Really.
It looks like I saw 2 people with it. We'll see who did it first.
I see.
And actually,
right here.
Okay. So the 2 people, we're going to give them both a prize. We're going to do 2 prizes at once with that one.
Okay, we'll do it that way. So the number is 43. So Bonnie Curtis.
Click on it so you can see it.
Oh, sorry. Bonnie.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next one is Jessie. Right there. So Bonnie and Jessie, we just clicked on it. Those are your faces. If that's you, Jessie, then we're going to need you to contact us so that we can mail these out to you. But you're going to each get a fanny pack. No, I got to.
Well, one of you is going to get a fit. Yeah, you're going to each get a fanny pack.
That's what we were
sorry
for this one. You're each going to get a fanny pack, some stickers, a pin, and your very own Boss Up
$1 million bottle.
Boss Up hand sanitizer. Do not try to sell this on eBay for lots of money because you'll get your account shut down. So don't do it.
Bonnie and Jessie, there is an email at the bottom of this show. Shoot an email with your mailing address, please.
Yes, please.
That will go to Katie, but I will mail it out because we all know Katie won't do that.
I don't know what you're talking about, man. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, so congrats to Bonnie and Jessie, and we'll do the other two at the end of the show. Okay, so, talking about scaling up, I have no interest in building this huge empire and having all these people work for me. Maybe someday I'll think about hiring somebody, but honestly, I like the way I do stuff. I like my flow, but I've still managed to be able to grow. And so, like I was saying, eBay was growing from year to year, and then this last year it dropped like 24%. But because I had added Etsy and been doing Etsy seriously for like a year and a half, sorry, I actually made more money in 2019 over 2018 because of Etsy. Thank baby Jesus. And so really, honestly, for me, the name of the game has been putting a lot more into sourcing as far as getting higher valued items. I am paying up a lot more for my stuff, but I'm buying stuff that is selling for much higher prices. So my average sale price went from around like $50 and now it's closer to like 70. That's made a big difference. And I'm also expanding to other platforms. So like I said, I'm focusing on Etsy, and then thanks to List Perfectly and their bulk cross-posting tool, I literally within a couple of weeks went from not being on Grailed to now I have over 1,500 listings on Grailed.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't that hard to do because of their bulk cross-posting tool. I made $1,000 in February just on Grailed, on top of what I made on Etsy, on top of what I made on eBay. There were a few items that I sold. I've already had, 16 transactions? A few items I've sold have been items that were $200, $300 items that I have had for months on my other two platforms. Mm-hmm. And they went on Grailed and they sold, because here's the thing.
Different buyers have different buyers. Platforms. Or different platforms have different buyers, I should say.
And Grailed is pretty specific to the kind of stuff that I sell. And I've wanted to get on there for a long time. It was just taking that leap. And because of List Perfectly, it was manageable. Mm-hmm. And now I've got these 3 platforms. So it is feasible for me to potentially bring in maybe an additional, I'm going to say, I think it's pretty conservative to say I can bring in another $15,000 in 2020 just on Grailed. And maybe I'll do even better than that. But
same. I'm hoping that by adding, I think I should do 20,000 on Etsy this year. And my inauspicious goal is about 1,500 on Posh. So yeah. So there's Bonnie just mentioned in there. Bonnie, I know it's you from Lakeville, Mass.
But anyway, so for me, it's all been about really focusing. I'm not so much focused on like huge volume. Like, yes, I would like my volume to go up a little bit, but my focus has really been on getting like higher price points. And here's the thing, like, yes, I'm spending up. And so like I go to Yesterday's Fits every week and I buy stuff from them. And let's say I buy a t-shirt for $30 or $50, but I know I can sell it for $150. But here's the thing, because I'm getting these higher dollar, more in demand kind of streetwear, vintage streetwear type stuff, I'm noticing that the turnover is faster. Mm-hmm. So in the past with the stuff I was buying, which was just basic, good vintage,
but maybe not,
sometimes I find really, really cool stuff at Savers.
Fire pieces.
Right. I would list it and it's like, okay, it's going to be like a 6-month process to maybe sell this. I'm noticing that like I shipped out 4 items today that I listed within the last 2 days. That was the stuff that I got this last week.
Yeah, see, that doesn't happen to me very often.
And so it's because of the platforms I'm selling on and the type of stuff I'm selling, it's actually turning over faster. And so the money, while I'm spending a lot more, I'm making more and I'm netting more, if that makes sense.
Yes. So Grandma Cheap Cheap asked, is Grailed for name brands? Grailed is really for men's vintage streetwear or hype wear that they call it, which is current streetwear styles.
Yeah, so it's not, so just to clarify, it's not just for vintage or anything like that, but it's all menswear. Originally it was all about like, you know, streetwear and a lot of vintage and stuff that's really popular. It's kind of, because it's grown, there's a lot of more like basic stuff on there as well.
But is that what people are buying on there?
But they're probably buying, I mean,
that's not what you're selling. You're not selling basic.
I have sold some really basic stuff on there. I've sold some stuff for like $30 and stuff like that. But it's really focused on menswear, streetwear type stuff. This kind of stuff that I sell basically is like, you look at my store and that's the kind of stuff that's selling on Grailed. But they do a lot of like Supreme and like that super high dollar stuff too.
So Connecticut Girl asked, do you post your vintage items on Posh as well? I do. As a matter of fact, I actually had a sale this morning on Posh for $79, a full price sale on Posh for $79 for some vintage boots, vintage men's boots that I also had on Etsy and on eBay, but it went full price. So.
So Pop Rocket Lisa says, how would you describe streetwear? So it's kind of like a fluid answer, but streetwear to me is that stuff that's very kind of, it's that popular clothing. It's a little more,
it's what the kids wear.
It's a little more casual, like you're not wearing a suit and calling it streetwear. It's that kind of casual leisure wear, sportswear, the stuff that you would see that's super popular within like the hip hop community, skater community. But it's
go to a mall in a major metropolitan city and watch all the teenagers into the young 20-somethings walking by, mostly men. Women wear it too, for sure, but mostly men right now. And you will see pretty much 80% of them are wearing what's considered streetwear.
Yeah, but it is somewhat fluid. So you're gonna, you know, any kind of sportswear is gonna be kind of within the realm of streetwear. Band t-shirts, wrestling t-shirts, NASCAR t-shirts, and then all the sweatshirts and stuff that go into that. All of that stuff's gonna kind of encompass the whole concept of like streetwear.
Follow Round 2 on Instagram or watch Round 2 on YouTube or Slobby's World. Or, you know, Paul Cantu's channel on YouTube. Yes, all of that is what's considered streetwear.
Yeah.
And no, hipster and streetwear are not the same thing. Hipster is more like old fashioned / vintage old men and old women wear that is made to look cool.
There's some overlap though.
There's a little bit of overlap. Like you could wear a band tee with like an old flannel and a pork pie hat and suspenders, and that would be hipster. But
because let me tell you, hipsters
streetwear.
were all about like back in like the, you know, mid 2000s, which was kind of when the whole hipster thing where everybody would talk about like, oh, that person's a hipster. They were all about the vintage t-shirts, all about like wearing like the ironic, like goofy 80s, 70s vintage t-shirts, ugly sweaters, all that stuff. And a lot of that has kind of merged into streetwear as well. So
Bear Kitty, sort of. So you have a Nirvana shirt, torn jeans, and Van Chucks on. Yeah, that would be a streetwear. That'd be a fit.
That's all streetwear.
That would be a fit, as the kids say.
As the youngins say.
That would be a fit. Nice fit.
But yeah, so generally, you know, I know you said that she had said Round 2 in Slobby's World. There's a lot of stuff.
F is in Frank is another one too.
If you're Frank. Yep.
That's the guy you were going to be on a show, right? Or no?
No, I talked to him about it potentially, but no. So going on like Instagram, you want to follow like stuff like Round 2, especially Round 2, their vintage store. And you know, there's YouTube channels that you can watch, and like somebody said Paul Cantu as well. Yes, Andrew did. He's really goofy and funny, but the stuff that he buys. I know, but the stuff, but I'm saying like those are the things I follow. There's Facebook groups that I'm in. There's Reddit subreddits that you can follow. There's lots of places that you can follow to kind of see that kind of stuff. So but anyway,
Yesterday's Fits has a good Instagram.
Yes, they do.
They do. So if you follow Yesterday's Fits, where Katie shops and where I shop sometimes and where we get our stuff, they do lots of daily posts of things that they're selling and things that they've gotten in, and that's streetwear. Like everything they sell is streetwear.
Yeah, it's all good stuff. And that's where I watch them, and I show up the next day. I go, I want that thing. Give it to me. Give it to me. Anyway. All right, guys. So that's kind of like how we are approaching it right now. And I've definitely found that because I am approaching it the way that I am and paying up, I'm actually lowering my volume to a certain degree. I haven't, back before I was doing the yesterday's fits and I was just doing all my rounds and going to all the different savers and trying to get as much stuff as I could, I was probably listing between 50 to 80 items a week or so. Now it's probably more like 35 to 60. Like if I have 60 items, that's kind of like a higher volume week. And so what's happened is it's actually freed up a little bit more time for me, and it makes it easier for me. Whereas before, when Vicky would say, let's take a day off, I'd kind of like go, and
she would give me such crap about taking a day off.
I did not give you crap, but it would make me very anxious. Because of that, now it's a lot easier for me to be like, okay, now I can start to
here's the thing too, that what a lot of people don't realize, if money is tight and you are afraid to invest or reinvest in yourself in order to expand, I will tell you, you're not going to get immediate results. That's the other thing too. If you're spending more money in order to make more money, if you're spending more to, paying more for your items to get a higher average sale price, it takes time to turn that investment into sales. If you are paying someone to help you, you're going to spend a lot of money training that person. Thankfully, I didn't have to do that with Crystal, but I did have to do that with Dana when I first hired Dana. You spend a lot of money training someone to do and be what you want them to do and be and how you want them to do it. And so you're going to spend a lot of money before you see return on that money. It takes time. For me right now, I'm trying to make sure I get enough items so that I have enough to give to Crystal and give myself stuff to do all week too. So I know that it's going to be a couple of weeks or even a month or two to find that balance by sourcing more.
I see Robin's in the house. Haven't seen you in a chat in a while. What's
happening? Bear Kitty says it looks like you have your ears over your head because you can see them. Those are her Mickey Rainbow ears.
They are Mickey Rainbow ears. They're pretty awesome. But yeah, I mean, I'm spending up a lot, but I spent a few years kind of getting to where I understand the stuff that I'm buying to the degree where I can pay up for it. So I get that it's not like you can go out tomorrow and just start buying t-shirts for $30 to $50 and not crash and burn. It took a long time for me to kind of build my knowledge base to where I don't have to look up stuff. I know that t-shirt's going to sell. I'm going to be able to buy that for $25 and it's worth it because I know I can sell it for a minimum $75. It does take time to build that kind of, I wouldn't say I'm an expert. There's lots of stuff I don't know about, but I do think I'm pretty good when it comes to t-shirts. You could give me a huge pile of t-shirts and I can go through it fast and pull out the ones that I think are worth selling. And I think I'll probably be pretty close to right on. So, but I mean, there's other people that know the vintage streetwear market way better than I do, and they can get it down to like that t-shirt sells every day for 150, or that one sells for X dollars.
I think you're real close to knowing that.
Yeah. So
I think you're real close to knowing that. For me, it's a matter of, I really love to source. I think everyone loves to source, as I've said before. But here's the thing. My strongest skill set, like Katie's, is in knowing what to buy. I know what is going to sell. And I know that I hear this from you guys in our group and on their show and messages and text messages and crap all the time. Like, why would you buy that? How would you think to buy that? How did you know that was going to sell for so much? I can't really describe it other than the fact that I have a lot of knowledge in this big fat head
knowledge.
So a lot of it is just learned over time, right? It's just learned over time and absorbed over time. I know a little bit about a lot of things. And if I don't know, I'm not afraid to take a risk and find out. So you learn a little bit all the time. So if you're always expanding your knowledge and your skill set, for me, all my knowledge, or the best of my knowledge, is in my head. I can't teach somebody what to source for me.
Yeah.
When you watch our show every week, some people watch our show every week and they still find it difficult to source or find certain things that are going to increase their average sale price. Some things you just can't teach.
Yeah.
It's just, you can only learn by doing. So I can't teach somebody what to go and source for me. I can't give them a list and say, go buy this, 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 and this.
Right.
I know what I can source and that I can buy and choose things for a good ROI. So that's part of it. Knowing that's where my skill lies. If I pay someone to take photos for me, once you train someone how you want the photos taken, anybody can take photos, really, right? People have their kids take photos. Once you train someone or have someone, like I pay someone to do my Posh closet, just the sharing and the following part and joining parties here and there. Once you show someone how to do that, anybody can do that. I can't teach that person to go and source for me though. So you have to take the information that you, and what do you have? What is your skill that is going to make you the most amount of money, and take advantage of and maximize that.
Yeah.
And if you have the ability to go forward and grow, then you've got to learn to train or pay people to do other aspects of your business. And I started doing that 4 years ago, but I did it in very little stages. But in the little stages, that allowed me to get to the point where I'm finally ready now and feel comfortable enough on a variety of platforms that I think that there is more to, you know, and I have a steady enough income that I can afford to pay somebody, even if I'm having a bad week or having 2 bad weeks or having a bad month. That's not going to put me in the red. So I can continue to grow where I wasn't able to necessarily do that before.
Yeah. And the reality is, like, while I have a different approach that doesn't involve hiring somebody, I know that my approach, there's still room for me to grow, but eventually there will be a ceiling to that. Because eventually, like, I can only fine tune my sourcing abilities and getting stuff, because again, my volume is limited by what I can handle myself. So for now, I'm happy with the way I'm going because I can see the room for growth. But at a certain point, if I hit that ceiling, and I don't know, maybe I'll hit that ceiling and I'll be perfectly happy with the level of income that I'm bringing in at that point, and so it won't matter to me. Or I'll be like, but I'm still itching to do more, and so then I'm going to have to finally let part of it go. So the reality is, at a certain point, you do have to hire somebody.
And it depends on where you want to go. Am I someone that wants to have a warehouse and 10 employees? No. Could I do that? Of course. Yeah. Anybody can, if you know how to do it. I could scale up to that if I wanted to. I have no desire to be there. I really don't want to have more than 1, maybe 2 employees to help me doing what I'm already doing. I like the sourcing the way I source. I'm not interested in buying pallets. I'm not interested in doing wholesale. Do I know that there's a lot more money to be made in that? Yeah. Absolutely. It does not interest me. I don't ever want my job to feel like a job. And to me, that would feel like a job. And Katie and I, we talked about, we've worked so hard these last 2 years to get to this point. We put in a lot of hours. We put in more hours than many. We turned down a lot of invitations and missed a lot of sun time at the pool in the summers and a lot of vacation time. All of our vacations have been volunteer based.
Saved ourselves from skin cancer.
Or for visiting family. We have not had a lot of downtime and a lot of relaxation time. So the point is that I wanted to get to this point where my business can, not if it can't run itself quite yet, it can coast for a little while if I want to take a day off. It can coast if we take, specifically take 1 full day off a week. Yeah. If we want to take a day, and like yesterday, Katie took the afternoon and painted the front door. 6 months ago, would she have done that? No. She would have been crabbing about it the whole time because she would have had too much work to do, would have felt like she was missing out and not doing stuff that she should have been doing instead of doing that. Yeah. So I'm excited to have a little bit more help to get my business to where I want it to be, which is not too much further than where it is, but still higher. Everybody always wants more, right? You always have a goal to be a little bit better. But my goal is to be a little bit better while working a little bit less personally.
Yeah. So it's really all about figuring out, like, what's your end game, or where do you see yourself? Where do you want to be in a certain amount of time? And then figuring out what you need to do in order to make that happen. Like, do you need to scale up and hire more people? Or do you want to keep it small and focus on just increasing your average sale price and maybe expanding to some other platforms, so you make sure your stuff's being seen by the right people?
Hugo and Tiffany, they never make it in the chat anymore.
What? You got real excited there.
I did. They're so cute. I love those kids. I love them.
You gonna hyperventilate?
They're so cute.
What is happening? She never does that when I come home.
No. Old hat.
So rude. So rude. Anyway, and keeping it beachy. What's happened to keeping it beachy? I have missed you guys. I've done Let's Perfectly increase my sales and Posh ambassador in 3 weeks.
Yay! That's awesome. You did it faster
cool.
than me. It took me 5 weeks.
Yeah. I'm telling you guys, getting back to the Let's Perfectly thing, if you are ready to expand to some other platforms, if you are ready to, like, really get into it, I'm telling you, I made $1,000 extra this last month just because I spent some time moving all of my stuff over to Grailed. Yep. And it wasn't that hard. It was not that hard. And it was kind of fun. Like, I don't know about you, but sometimes I like having, like, super, like, mindless work to do, because it's like when you're cross-posting, you're not having to, like, research. When you're cross-posting old listings, you're not having to sit there and, like, research and think about anything because the pricing's already set. You've already pretty much done all the work. It's just a matter of moving stuff over.
Yeah,
so it's like you can watch
a couple
TV,
of seconds.
You can watch movies while you're just sitting there and you open up a bunch of tabs. cross post a bunch of stuff, and bam, you got money rolling in.
I've got about half of my items over to Posh that I need to get over there. The problem is that I've got to figure out what's listed and what's not. That's the hard part, is doing it in batches in that way. But yeah, I have about almost 800 items on Posh, and I think I have 1,500 clothing items altogether that I can get over there. So I'm excited to get it over there. All of my vintage stuff has been on Etsy for quite a while now, so I just crossed the new stuff.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's go ahead. We're going to wrap it up. So let's go ahead and give away these awesome sunglasses. Who is ready to win a prize? We got prizes for you.
For the new people that popped in,
I
don't care. You sing, are we singing a song? For the new people that popped in, listen, we all know that Hugo and Tiffany have 9,000 swag items because I've seen the pictures and the vids. So
it's a bit excessive.
It's a bit excessive, yeah. So we've got some sunglasses, eBay sunglasses, aviator glasses.
You're doing it again. Quit doing it.
Cute little pouch.
Jeez,
we've got some Boss Up pins, a couple of pins that say Boss Up, a couple of stickers, and then this is the pièce de résistance.
Ooh.
Here is the highly coveted, super expensive, highly resellable on a platform other than eBay or Amazon for at least $800 a bottle, is the Boss Up hand sanitizer. This is highly coveted.
That's right.
This might be the difference between you and coronavirus.
We basically have been stockpiling these for the last year, waiting for a pandemic. And now we have it. So anyway, yes.
Don't be jealous.
So you'll get a bottle of this.
Please don't tell everybody we have so many. We may have our house broken into because there is a run on hand sanitizer and they know we have it.
Yeah. Or if you just want to.
It's a strong hand sanitizer.
You can drink it too.
Oh,
didn't you ever see that really bad, what's that show called? The Intervention. Wasn't there like a lady who like drank hand sanitizer?
I'm sure there are several.
Oh man. Oh, that's rough. That's rough. Anyway, guys. All right, so let's do another giveaway.
We gotta get some fortified doors. I better double up on the ring light.
Are we just doing numbers again?
Let's just do numbers again.
Okay, so we're gonna go.
Yes, we're hoarding it. Except
you pick a number.
We are so smart that we actually bought cases of this stuff back in July. We actually anticipated.
Did you cause the coronavirus?
We anticipated the pandemic.
Did you start this?
And possibly caused the coronavirus just so we could have.
You're disgusting.
The hand sanitizer.
All right, pick a number here. Write down a number. Come on.
All right, so
I haven't told you it's going to be a different number range than before, guys. It's going to be hello, I just showed you what the range was.
Oh.
It's going to be a different range than before. And did you see how I just attacked her viciously?
Seriously.
A different range than before. So you can't start early, guys. You can't start early. And Allison, your favorite number, not within the range. So you're out of luck. Although I guess she could make it work. But all right. So as soon as I say go, you're going to give us this number. Whichever one pops up first on our screen, we're giving away to 2 people, actually. So it'll be the first 2. We're going to give away a pair of the glasses each, and you're going to get hand sanitizer and all the other stuff. So here we go. Pick a number. Pick a number betwixt 150 and 200. Go. 150 and 200 betwixt.
Knock it off, Allison.
See, she did it. She did it. So let's see. Oh man, it pops up fast on here. Okay, I definitely saw one. Okay, so our first winner is Pop Rocket Lisa. No, that's not right. Sorry, Pop Rocket Lisa. Now I'm going to have to send Pop Rocket Lisa something because I accidentally told her that she was the winner. So let's go ahead and we'll get
the accidental winner.
The accidental winner, but she's not the actual winner. But the actual winners are Shar and whoops, it's moving. It's jumping around here on me. Holy cannoli! All right, guys, stop typing the numbers. Hold on. Jeez Louise. Jeez Louise. I'm trying. Oh, here we go. Life in NYC. So Shar and Life in NYC, and then Pop Rocket Lisa because I'm a jerk. Because actually, I'm going to blame it on Allison because she put 169. Pop Rocket Lisa did, and I was thinking of Allison, and so that's why I picked her.
So we're going to give out.
Get an extra surprise.
3 No, we got.
Oh, we'll just do 3 pairs of sunglasses.
3 pairs of sunglasses.
There you go. There you go. All right, guys. So make sure you contact us. Contact info is down below, and we will get those mailed out to you. So look, we got 5 prizes today. All right. Oh,
yeah, send in the email, please, to the email link down below. It's Katie's email. Send everything. So there's, oh, Lisa, I'm sending you one anyway. Make sure that you send your full name and your address.
Yes.
And we'll get everything out within the next day or so.
Anyway, whew, that's the show. I hope that you know, like I said, we don't have all the answers, but we just kind of wanted to have a discussion around scaling up because it is something. And I do think that, you know, the reality is it's reselling like any other business. As it grows, as it goes on over time, it becomes more complex. And so it does take added skill and knowledge to be successful. And I think most important, the ability to adapt to changes, because there are a lot of things that are out of our control. And so the ability to take things as they come and adapt to them is really key. And so, yes, it is absolutely possible to grow your business today as a reseller. It absolutely is. It's
absolutely possible to be a successful full-time or part-time reseller in this day with a bazillion other resellers. You can still do it. It may not be as easy as it was 20 years ago, but nothing good ever comes easy, right? I mean, this has never been a get-rich-quick business.
Nope. So it takes skill and it takes adaptability, I would say, and hard work, of course. So anyway, guys, thank you so much. I hope that we've helped like stimulate your mind to thinking about how you can change your business, how you can grow your business.
If you want to.
If you want to. And at least helped you to kind of think about it and put it into the context of your own businesses. And I'm going to go get myself some lunch, a little snickety snack.
You know, Christine, Corduroy Fox, I had to go up and highlight this little comment here because it's super sappy. Super sappy.
Aww, we're the best prize anyway. That's so sweet.
Anyway, thanks, Christine. We appreciate you guys in the chat as always, and make sure that you send your information down below if you won one of the prizes. And if you're not in a Boss Facebook group, please join down below. There is the link. It's a cool group.
And I want to thank Sandra for continuing to be disgusting. We appreciate your filthy minds.
Sandra and Jen for having the going back and forth conversation there. It was good.
You sick bastards.
You're awful.
All right, I'm gonna go get something to eat, and then I'm gonna get to work and get a little bit of listing done. And then I got yet more house projects because this one keeps me going.
It's true.
And whatnot. So enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your week. And remember, guys, to pay attention to when Sunday's show is coming out, because we don't know what time it's going to be, but it's going to be at a different time. It's going to be early.
Yeah, we're going away this weekend. We're going sourcing, and we will be doing our live show on Sunday from the hotel before we have to pop out.
Yeah.
So it's probably going to be closer to the 10 or 11 o'clock hour on Sunday morning Pacific time.
Also, time changes may happen. So yeah, we'll post it in Boss and we'll schedule it on YouTube. Anyway, see you guys later. Bye. We love you.